In this video, we're going to take a look at the interface for Mercury. Starting at the top left corner of the plugin, we have a LED light which indicates whether our samples are still loading. This should be solid green before you begin to play. To the right of this is the CPU meter, which is an indicator of how hard the processor on our machine is working. Next, we have the disk meter. This shows us how hard the disk we are streaming the sampled content from is working. The memory meter beside this tells us how much sample content has been preloaded into RAM. The voices meter tells us the number of audio threads being streamed at any point. Next is the refresh button, which will refresh the current plugin instance. Here we have the MIDI channel selector, which defaults to any channel upon loading. You can click the drop-down arrow to select from the list of available MIDI channels. Next are the tuning and panning controls, along with the volume control for the plugin. Finally, we have the two settings for the library. Under the ellipsis, we have the settings that can be applied on a per patch basis, and under the cog, we have the settings that will be applied globally. More information on the settings can be found in the manual. To access the preset selector, click the downward facing arrow and you'll see a list of all available presets. You can filter these on the left by using the group buttons, or you can create your own starred group by clicking the star icon beside the presets you want to include. At the bottom half of the plugin, we have three different views: the sound bays, the effects, and finally the sequencer. If we take a look at the sound bays, we can see two separate bays, Sound Bay A and Sound Bay B. Both are independent and have their own separate adjustable controls. Each sound bay has a preset menu where you can filter, favorite, or preview a sound before selecting it. You will also have three main controls: a speaker icon, which mutes or unmutes the sound bay, a set of arrow keys to cycle through the preset list, and an unload button, which completely removes the current preset in the specific sound bay. Moving further down, we have three specific oscillators: volume, pitch, and filter. The frequency of this oscillator can be controlled by selecting and dragging it. The amount that the low frequency oscillator affects the sound bay can be set by dragging the scroll bar up or down. Below the oscillator section, we have the filters and envelopes. The available filters are high pass and low pass filters, with the frequency cutoffs being accessible by selecting and dragging the filter. The resonance at the cutoff point is determined by dragging the slider underneath. The ADSR controllers allow you to set the attack, decay, sustain, and release within the sound bay. The attack controls the time it takes for the sound to fade in from 0. The decay determines how long it takes for the sound to decay from the peak level to the sustain level set by the sustain control. The release control sets how long it takes for the sound to reach 0 after you release the key. Below the filters, we have a tune control, allowing you to adjust the overall pitch of the sound source, a pan control to adjust the position in the stereo field, the offset control to allow you to adjust the note range, and the trim control, which lets you set the overall level for the specific sound bay. Next, we have the glide option, which allows control over the portamento of the sound. When switched on, the bend control is no longer available, and you can adjust the glide level by moving the slider on the right. The bend control allows you to control the amount of depth applied using the slider on the left. The slider on the right adjusts the amount of pitch variation that's applied. The clone option allows you to duplicate the signal on the specific sound bay and pitch it. The slider on the left controls the particular tone used in tones or semitones, and the slider on the right operates as a fine-tuning control. Finally, we have a mixer, which allows you to mix between sound bay A and sound bay B. The Oscillate Mixer button will set the mixer to oscillate in time with your DAW. You can further change the rate of oscillation by using the up and down arrows. The stop on release control will stop oscillation of the mixer when you hit stop on your DAW. The wave icons to the right of the mixer allow you to choose which wave shape the mixer oscillates at. The slider below allowing you to set the point in the wave cycle that the oscillation starts at. Moving on to the effects view, by selecting the effects button at the top of the synth engine, we are now able to access additional effects. First, we have two effects channels specific to each of the sound bays. In the event that you wanted to use effects available to bay A on sound bay B, you would need to reverse the synth engine around. More information on each of the effects available can be found in the manual. Next, we have traditional auxiliary effects. In order to use these effects on either of the sound bays, you'll need to turn on the aux option in the desired sound bay. The aux effects offers more traditional send bass effects, i.e. delays and reverbs, while the master effects features effects typically associated with mix-based processing. You can also use aux effects on the master effects page by enabling the aux option. Next, we have the sequencer, which features an on-off switch at the top. You can program the rhythm of each sound bay by selecting the boxes in the sequencer. You can then increase the length of the sequence by using the length slider below, and increase the speed by using the arrows on the left-hand side. You can also reverse the pattern between each bay by selecting the reverse icon to the right. The depth control adjusts how much the signal is affected by the gate sequencer. The smooth in control allows the user to place a fade on the beginning of each step, while the smooth out control allows you to place a fade on the end of each step. The stop on release button sets the sequencer to stop when you hit stop on your DAW. The after layer effects option allows you to place the sequencer after the effects instead of before. If you have any further questions about Mercury, please reach out to us at spitfireaudio.com/support.
Thanks for watching Spitfire Clips. Let us know if it was too long, too short, too fast, or too slow in the comments down below. Hit like if we answered your question, and subscribe for more clips, tips, tricks, and exclusive Spitfire content.